Good morning, everybody, and appreciate you being here. And if you want to, if you're able to follow along with me this morning, we will be starting in the 20th verse of the first chapter of the book of Proverbs. So far, we have listened as the father has spoken to his son. We have seen the wicked speaking to the young man, trying to draw him into their wicked ways. And now in verse 20, we're going to hear wisdom speak. And we're going to hear wisdom address the young man. And wisdom, it says, cries out and pleads with the man to listen and to be obedient to what she has to say. And so notice, if you will, in verse 20, he says, Wisdom crieth without, she uttereth her voice in the streets. She crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates. In the city she uttereth her words, saying, How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Uh, let's go ahead and just look at this whole passage. This whole section is wisdom speaking. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you, because I have called and you refused. I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded. But ye have set at naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me, for that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord. They would none of my counsel. They despised all of my reproof. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way, and be filled with their own devices. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. But whoso hearkeneth unto me shall dwell safely, and shall be quiet from fear of evil. The words of wisdom to the young man, the words of wisdom to you and I today. Wisdom pleads with the young man to hear her voice. And she cries out outside, outdoors, in the streets, in the chief place of the concourse, in other words, in the main market, in the openings of the gates, in the city. Everywhere he goes, wisdom cries out, do the right thing. Do what you are supposed to do. Do what you have been taught. Do what you know is right. And that is such a contrast, unfortunately, to what so many of our young people are being taught today. Many of our young people are being taught you can't know you can't know right from wrong. You just have to experiment. Or worse, there is no right or wrong. You just whatever feels good, you do that. But Proverbs here, wisdom says, "I am readily available. I am calling out." Um, like a man with a megaphone calling you, ready for you to listen. She says that she is speaking in the gates of the city. The gates of the city, you remember that's where Lot was sitting in Sodom. He was sitting there at the gates. That's where the business of the city would be done. It was where people would gather. and speeches were made from the gates of the city, and wisdom is stepping up to those gates and speaking. She speaks to the simple. She says the simple are the gullible. She speaks to she speaks not only to them, but she speaks to the scorners. The scorners are those who have in the past rejected the word, rejected wisdom, and because of that have become calloused towards God. Speaking to the fools, and these are the people who live their life wildly, carelessly, ignore wisdom completely. And beginning in verse 22, then we see wisdom just again pleading with her audience. How long will you continue in your foolish ways? How long will you continue to ignore me and to live by your foolishness and to live according to your evil, your own designs? And she calls in verse 24, if you look. She stretches out her hand. She offers her counsel. She convicts in verse 25. Just repeatedly, she is reaching out with wisdom. And because of that, it says that the Bible says that because of that, man is then doomed. Because of that, I will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. Not if, but when. Verse 27, when your fear comes, when distress and anguish come upon you. It says it's not, if you reject the wisdom of God, eventually, wisdom says you will pay the price. And we see here God's plan, the desire of wisdom. God says, I want you to have that wisdom. I want to give it to you. I want you to enjoy it. I want you to live by it. But if you reject it, he says there comes a point when you have destroyed your life, you have ruined your life to the point where then wisdom is unavailable. It's too late at that point to try and call back wisdom. How many of us have learned that lesson the hard way? How we'd like to go back just a little bit in time and correct a few poor decisions that we made because we made them without the leadership of God, without the wisdom of God to direct us. And today, as we go out and about, go about our business, go about our life, my prayer is that we will listen to the plea of wisdom, to the call of wisdom, and that we will heed her words, heed the wisdom that God has so richly provided for us and given us, rather than the wisdom of this world, rather than our own wisdom, but that we would answer and follow the call of the wisdom of God. Hope you have a good day, and I hope you follow and seek the wisdom of God.